Good evening, everyone. Welcome to the Unacademy live platform. My name is Arifa Zahir, and today we are going to talk on the common speaking topics, technology. So let's have a look and see who are there in the class. Hi, everyone. Can all of you hear me clearly? Can I get a quick hi and a yes from everyone in regard to the audio quality? Thank you, Orithro. Yes, thank you guys. So let's begin with the class today. Before I begin, very important to tell all of you that if you have any kind of a doubt or any question in regard to whatever I'm doing in the class, you can definitely put it down in the comment section below. All right? Thank you guys. Thank you. And if you would like to ask any question, put it down. I'll definitely address it towards the end of the class. So on that note, let's begin the class today. Before I begin, let me share my referral code with you. My referral code is BE Trainers. If you're not a subscriber and today you are here to attend the class, you're more than welcome to watch the class, to ask me questions and to clear your doubts. But if you would like to know more and would like to improve yourself completely, please come to my classes on the Unacademy platform. In order to attend my classes, which are the live classes, you will have to take a subscription. And for the subscription, please use the referral code BE Trainers. I repeat, BE Trainers. And there are 5 different types of subscriptions: 1 month, 3 months, 6 months, 12, and 24 months. So these are the different types of subscriptions that Unacademy provides. Now, it's important to know that each of these subscriptions are different in the sense you've got access to different number of months. But one thing that you can rest assured about is you will be getting a 10% off if you use my referral code BE Trainers. And on that note, let's start off with the class. Another thing, we are currently doing a course on IELTS Writing Task 1 and 2. If you are interested and would like to attend these classes, let me tell you that we're having these classes every day at 12 noon from tomorrow onwards. Alright? So that's it, guys, and let's start off with the class. And anyone who's new, who doesn't know me, my name is Arifa Zahir, and I'm the founder of British English Trainers, which is situated in the eastern part of the country in Kolkata. And I'm a plus educator here on the Unacademy platform. My educational background includes Masters in English Literature, CELTA from Cambridge University. And I have an overall experience of being an IELTS administrator and instructor of more than 13 years. My students are placed in all parts of the world, and at BET, which is my institute, we provide training for IELTS, TOEFL, PT, general and communicative English, and also provide assistance in writing the statement of purpose. So yes, that's it, guys. Let's move ahead. Now, before we begin, very important to know what are the different grammatical criteria based on which you are marked in the IELTS speaking examination. Grammar holds 25%, lexical resource another 25%. Let's call this fluency and coherence another 25% and pronunciation 25%. It's very important to notice that these two are correlated. So if you want to score more in pronunciation, you need to be fluent, audible, clear, and there should be some sort of intonation to what you're saying in order to score higher. Now, the overall Bansko is a total aggregate of all the different skills, so it's important to know that too. And the assessment criteria are based on different types of categories. And it's important for you to understand that all these different types of categories help contribute to you getting a good score in the IELTS examination. Now, one of the major parts of vocabulary is the usage of synonyms. And synonyms, very simply, are words that can be used instead of the other word, words which have the exact same meaning. For example, busy could be replaced with occupied, transport, modes of conveyance, beautiful could be substituted by stunning. Another thing that we are equally passionate about is collocations. Now, what are collocations? Who will tell me in the class? Hi Ved, hi Neha, hi Arithro, hi Srijani. Anyone who will tell me what collocations are? Okay, while we wait for the others to respond to what collocations are, I'll just move a little ahead and tell you that collocations are very important. Yes, Pratik, joining of 2 or 3 words, and Neha, 2 words meant to be together. So they work exceptionally well in the IELTS writing examination and also in the speaking. Unlike the idiomatic expressions, which can be used only in the IELTS speaking examination, the collocations can be used in both. Ali, joining words to connect with the previous sentence. Alright, good. Now, another thing which is equally important to notice out here is a lot of these collocations, when written properly in IELTS Writing Task 2 essay, will help you fetch a lot of marks. So let's have a look at some of these. Generally, we call food which is oily food. The appropriate way of calling it would be junk or fast food. Now, with the moment you write junk or fast food, it shows that your awareness of a particular word is higher in terms of you understanding, being able to understand that there is a variety to this. So, being able to express to the examiner that your vocabulary is quite strong. So that helps in terms of collocations. Thank you guys. A lot of you've mentioned a lot of things and that's good. Now, generally agree to is something which is absolutely wrong. You would be very clearly and very categorically writing agree with. And because to agree with means to agree, with someone else who's got a similar view as yours. All right. Now, let's move ahead. Accuracy is very important in the IELTS speaking, but I would say more important in IELTS writing. When it comes to IELTS speaking, please try to focus more on fluency and then work backwards, then go towards working on your grammar. Because unless you're speaking, regardless of how perfect your grammar is, if you're going to just give me 2 sentences, you're not going to score a higher band score in IELTS writing. In the IELTS speaking examination. But to keep in mind that accuracy helps you score a higher band score, it is very important to notice that only if you are able to communicate, to express what you want to say, will your accuracy also be countable. So it's important. These two are absolutely correlated. Neither of the one tops the other. It in fact complements each other. It's very, very important that you get your grammar right. Now, when it comes to the grammar, it's very important to understand that grammar has 2 very specific rules when it comes to subject-verb agreement. Now, the first rule is if the subject is singular, then it will take a singular verb with it. And if the subject is plural, then it will take a plural verb with it. Now, this is the basic rule of subject-verb agreement. And with this, your whole idea of getting grammar right comes together. Now, for students who face problems here, you are facing problems here because of your not so adequate knowledge of countable and uncountable nouns. All right. So it's very, very important that you abreast yourself and get yourself ready in these 2 grammatical aspects to score a higher grammar. grammar score. Now, post this, the other thing which are very important are linkers. Now, amidst all of you in the class, can anyone tell me what category, what assessment criteria does a linker fall under? Let's see if we've got anyone in the class who will give us that answer. Hi Ashu, welcome to the class. Very good, Akshay. It falls under, definitely when it comes to writing, it falls under coherence and cohesion. But when it comes to speaking, it falls under fluency and cohesion. Thank you guys. Thank you Prateek. Thank you Neha. Thank you Ratna, Akshay, and thank you Vishnu. So let's put it under the category of fluency and cohesion, coherence. Now, very important to note that without the signposting language or without the linkers, it would be impossible for you to score a higher Bansko. I will definitely be putting the links down for you all to watch my signposting language videos, for you all to go through the material that I've done earlier, so that you get an idea about what it is all about. Next, it's very important to understand that you don't start with the IELTS speaking part 1 or part 2 or part 3 immediately. You do get your time to get acclimatized in the examination room. Now, a question that I'm going to ask the rest of you here is, what is your biggest fear when it comes to meeting the examiner? What do you fear the most that gets you nervous about talking before the examiner? Let's get an answer. Anxiety, Prateek. You feel that she's judging you? Ratna, you get nervous and stressed out. Pressure about performance, Ved. Yes. Abrupt questions, Arya? Not to stammer in front of the examiner. Now, I'll tell you some ways in why this particular thing happens. Unknown questions, Ratna. The best part of the IELTS examination is before any of this happens, before any of these happen, okay? Let me just show it to you. Okay, yeah, Neha. So before any of this happens, what happens is you meet the examiner at this stage. Now, one of the major things which is paramount when it comes to the IELTS speaking examination is the examiner is there to make you feel comfortable. The examiner is not there to scare you. So do not worry, relax before the examiner and then speak accordingly. Another thing that you need to note is that before any of this happens, the examiner relaxes you, speaks to you, and then accordingly guides you in terms of how you're going to approach the examination. So, if you focus on what the examiner is asking at this stage, you automatically relax, your anxiety goes down, you can ask for a glass of water, and also most importantly, what you realize is that if you get comfortable with the examiner at this stage, all your palpitations and you not speaking logically gets relaxed. So it's very important to acclimatize yourself with the environment, with the examiner, and by the time she begins with part 1 of the IELTS speaking test, you are at a more comfortable space. All right, now let's move ahead. Now, part 1 of the IELTS speaking test is a number of questions depending on 3 topics. It takes 4 to 5 minutes. Generally, interview questions, not anything difficult. But one thing that is different between part 1 and part 3 of the IELTS speaking test is, while one is you should be answering at least with 2 to 3 sentences, and these are very straightforward, simple questions. The other one would be discussion questions. So it's important to show your range of vocab, your linkers, connectors, and also your language, grammatical language. Okay? Any questions here, guys? Now, our speaking part 2 is 1 minute prep time, and you need to speak on that topic for at least 2 minutes. So this, by the time you come here, you've already relaxed. So I know it's scary right now, but on the day of the examination, you are much more in control. Now, of course, the topic for today is, look at the picture and tell me, what is the topic for today? Of course, it's there on the slide right there at the beginning. Technology. All right. Now, technology as a word brings in a lot of ideas into your mind immediately. And one of the major things that comes to your mind is you will have to talk. What is that one noun, guys, that comes to your mind immediately when you think of technology? Come on, give me some words. Give me a noun. Mobile technology. All right. The one thing that the moment you think of a technological topic is, a topic on technology is, you will definitely have to talk about some gadget or the other. Otherwise, it'll be in relation to the internet. So you guys are not wrong when you say that. And otherwise, some concept like AI, artificial intelligence. All right. So let's move ahead. Hi Sanjana, welcome to the class. And I think I can see a new name there. So let us do some vocab practice on the given topic. And I will be showing you some slides and I'll be asking you a few questions that will give you a lot more clarity about these topics. Now, you can see this word out here, right? So you can see a word before I move there. Indispensable. The word is indispensable. So definitely it is an adjective. So yes, can all of you see that? And the meaning of the word is something you could not manage without. A sentence example is the smartphone has become an indispensable device. And what kind of word is it? It's a collocation, prove indispensable, become indispensable, consider indispensable. So the other verbs that it goes with, verbs plus adjective, and the synonyms for the word indispensable would be vital, crucial, and essential. Now, this is a very important slide in terms of, I had discussed a few vocabulary strategies in my last class, and this is another one that I wanted to discuss with you. Now, this moves to a very high level of vocabulary. Once you've selected certain topics, then you get into looking at the words which can be used there. And then you can make a mind map in relation to that particular word in this way. Firstly, you talk about what part of speech it is. Next, you look at the meaning. Post that, you write a sentence. Then think of all the other words that it can go with, collocation, and then write synonyms. So I hope this slide is going to be helpful for you. And you will be able to make more words with this. Yes, guys? So now I'm going to give you another word and I would like you to do the same for me. Will you be able to do it? Yes? Very quickly. You don't need to show it to me. I do not want you to do anything. Just quickly write it in your notebook. I'm going to give you a word and you will do it. Okay? No need to show, and I'm going to give you just 2 minutes for it. and nothing else. And the word is gadget. The word is gadget. Quickly do this. Time out, guys. And yes. So shouldn't have taken more than 2 minutes. So we are done with that. So you don't need to show me. It was just a practice activity that I wanted you all to try. So how many of you were able to immediately identify the part of speech? Just tell me yes or no. Good. And how many of you were able to write your sentence? Great, guys. That means you're on the right track. So I hope this particular strategy is going to help you with your IELTS speaking examination. All right. Now let's move ahead and let's have a look at the other words. Similarly, the same thing has been done here. You've got the part of speech. You've got the meaning. You've got the sentence. And you've got what it goes with the other words, and you've got synonyms. Now, I hope this particular strategy, this mind map, has made things clearer for all of you. It's a different thing to expand your vocabulary, and it's another thing to understand all aspects of that word. Especially if you're using any new word, this is the approach that you should be following. Now, let's move ahead, and there are other words for you. So you can have a look at these sometime later at peace. All right. Now, let's come to the question. All for you guys. Go through it. Look at how it has been used so that you can use it effectively in the IELTS speaking examination. Use this approach to become better. Okay, yes. Now we've come to the question part, and some of these questions include. So generally, what are the different types of questions? So these mind maps had a lot of words that are generally used when we are talking about technology. It spoke about device, develop. It spoke about innovation, innovative. It spoke about e-commerce, how that is one of the major aspects, and it also spoke about how it is modifying the world nowadays. So and how the invention of a proper mobile phone, a smartphone, was one of the major breakthroughs in the world. So it's important to understand how in different ways you would be using these words. Now, where will you use these words? It's a different thing that some of these words will only go in the technology topic, but there are other words, but there are other topics where also you could use these words. Let's have a look at the technology questions so that you get a better idea on these, vocabulary, linkers, connectors, and the topics. Part 1 questions generally are like this. Do you use any gadgets on a daily basis? I feel, ma'am, face-to-face has become absolutely obsolete, and I feel today's generation believes in innovation, and one of my favorite gadgets is my mobile phone, and I definitely use this particular gadget on an everyday basis. One thing to remember, please do not answer part 1 question in just monosyllables. At least speak for 2 to 3 sentences. Have you ever bought anything online? You remember the word e-commerce? Now I'll tell you how it can be used. Currently, the world today, I would believe, is completely dependent on the e-commerce platform. And yes, I've bought plenty of things online. One of the things that I recently bought was a microwave oven. So this was one particular gadget which I bought, and I'm very happy with it. That's your part 1 of the IELTS speaking test. You could get similar questions like that, and that wouldn't be a problem, because if you're confident about the part 1 of the IELTS speaking, you will very nicely sail through to part 2. But if you hesitate a little at part 1, there's nothing to worry, guys. Remember, unless you're aiming for a Bansko 8 or a 9, a little bit of hesitation would definitely be allowed. It's only if you're aiming for Bansko 8 and above or Bansko 9, you wouldn't be using hesitation at all. Otherwise, some hesitation is absolutely normal. And remember, even before part 1 begins, the examiner will be asking you a few questions. So there's nothing to worry. Alright? Now part 2, generally there is a prototype on how you begin. You always thank the examiner and say, thank you for the given topic, ma'am. It is such an or a, and use some adjective. And then begin your IELTS speaking test 2. There, Shivani, you've answered it properly. Now, part 2 of the IELTS speaking talks about some technology that you've started using fairly recently. You should say what it is and what it does. So, of course, the usage of the word gadgets, how it makes life better or easier, develop, modify, also innovation. So look at how these words can be used and how it is different to other similar technology. So e-commerce has made things common for people to have access to other technological equipments also, and say whether you think you will still be using it in 10 years time or not, which would be an absolute no, but it all depends on how you approach the question. Remember one thing, you will get just 1 minute to prep, and you'll have to speak for at least 2 minutes. All right, and so that is going to be your approach for part 2 of the IELTS speaking test. And part 3 coincidentally does look similar to part 1, and not coincidentally, obviously, but there's a huge difference. Part 3 of the IELTS speaking test will use functional language and will be usually discussion type questions, where the examiner would want to not only listen to your vocabulary variety, but also listen to your grammatical range and accuracy. So part 1, 3 to 4 minutes. Part 2, again 3 to 4 minutes, because 1 minute prep time, 2 minute talk time, and of course 1 minute for you to relax, talk, etc. And part 3 is the longest one. Now you need to remember, if you answer it in very short, you will get into trouble. So it's important that you answer it in absolute detail. Alright, so with that we come to the end of the IELTS speaking topic. your topic, common speaking topic, technology, and we've got the sample for you here. So don't worry at all, we've got it sorted for you. Please refer to it, and you can use to refer to this and look at how signposting language, how vocabulary, and how listing has been used so that you can give a very good answer. And there, part 3 too. Now, before I end the class today, it's very important for me to tell you that currently we are doing a writing course 1 and 2. It is on these different topics. We begin with the class tomorrow on the 14th of May at 12 noon. And these are the different topics that are going to be covered. And two-part essay, advantages, disadvantages, agree, disagree essay. Now, please remember that two-part essay is the most difficult type of essay, and it's very important to understand how to demystify it. So, all these different aspects will be taught to you, both the views essay, problem solution essay, academic writing task 1, graphs and charts, academic writing task 1, maps and process, formal, semi-formal letters for GT, and informal letters. So all in all, it's going to be a master course for all of you for part 1 and part 2 of the IELTS writing examination. And if you are interested, come to my classes from tomorrow at 12 noon. And if you're not a subscriber, please use my referral code BE Trainers to take a subscription and get a 10% off. And with that, we come to the end of today's class. I hope you enjoyed the class today, and I'll be back again sometime this week to discuss on one of these speaking topics where I will not be giving you the answers, but you will be giving me the answers. For now, thank you guys, and bye-bye. Srijani, I will definitely look into that. And guys, please remember, every Saturday I am available at 2:30 with the speaking class. So come to the Unacademy platform and be a part of the speaking class. Thank you. Again, you'll have to be a subscriber in order to attend these classes. And yes, that's it. Bye for now.